Hello, I'm Adam Howden, and I'm going to be talking to Chris Gordon on Hellblazer Biz.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, my lovely listeners and viewers, wherever you are in the world right now. This is Chris Gordon on the one and only Hellblazer Biz. Got it right this week. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, I appreciate all of your support and your comments and your questions for all my guests that come in. I am on episode 97 now, and I believe that this week I will be recording up to episode 99. Can you believe that? I'm nearly on 100 episodes. Wow. Trying to do something special for the 100th. Still working on it. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Today is an actor who I actually interviewed a while ago. He is currently on tour in theatre at the moment. And without further ado, I shall introduce you to you, Mr. Adam Howden. Hi Adam, again.
Hello.
Glad to have you here. Thank you very much for not inviting yourself. Thank you very much for
inviting myself. Hey, get me on your show.
Yeah. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. One day it's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to be people coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No, you're most welcome. It's great to sort of interact with you and have everyone find out a little bit more about you.
Not too much.
Whether it's there's nothing bad in here. Don't worry. I've just got some questions thrown together here, which we'll find out just about what you've done, what you're planning to do, sort of how you kind of got into things. So we shall kick it off straight away, and not keep you. So first is how did you become an actor in the first place? When was it you decided that this was your vocation in life?
When I was doing my A-levels at college in Somerset, I literally had sort of no idea what I was going to do. I just I did English literature, drama, and film studies, and I was like, I've got to do something kind of arts and culture-y, something interesting. And then I'd always done acting at school and enjoyed it, and I guess I just started to go to the theatre more through the English department rather than the drama department. Mm-hmm. Going to see like shows with the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National and everything that went to Bath Theatre Royal, I was there to see, and I just was like, I just got really excited by the idea of this lifestyle and looking through the programs and seeing where all these actors trained and seeing all these schools and going, oh, what's this, and seeing like RADA and LAMDA Drama Centre and all these sort of names of drama schools and sort of thinking, oh right, there's these sort of special schools. They're not like universities. So I started investigating those, much to the dismay of my A-level college, because they wanted all of their people to sort of sign up to these schools who are all on the UCAS system.
Oh yeah.
Probably just to sort of make their statistics look good of who's going on to university. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want to go to university. If I want to be an actor, I've got to go to one of these drama schools. Yeah. Now, that's not to say that people who go to university can't be actors. Of course they can. But I just sort of, I'd seen the actors that I'd really liked in theatre. Mm-hmm. I'd seen that was the route they went. And I went, well, that's the route I want to go too. So, and also, like, I'd had enough of doing writing essays and things like that, and doing coursework. And I went, no, if I go to drama school, I won't have to do any of that. I'll just be acting all day, every day. because that's the thing is, even like I have friends of mine who did go to university to do drama, but they just they did have to do a lot of still had to do writing essays and dissertations, and I'm just like that's just not what I'm in it for. I want to act, and so yeah, I from the age of sort of 16 was like, right, I think this is where I want to go. I think that's what I'm doing. So I did my A levels, and then I took a gap year, just sort of worked and made garden fences and sheds and things for a local company. Just saved up money, hung out with my girlfriend at the time, just sort of just enjoyed not being in education for a bit, and then went, right, now it's time to audition for drama schools, and luckily I got into a couple of them.
Cool.
And I went to Drama Centre, and I got into a couple of others, but they weren't as good, so obviously I picked Drama Centre.
Excellent.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. It's good to hear that you sort of, that's the kind of path you chose. I mean, I know when I was 18 I did drama, German and French A levels, because I was still undecided. I wanted to be in the army or the navy at the time.
Oh.
But I also wanted to be an actor because I'd done musicals and stuff in the school, and I absolutely adored them. But I was totally gutted because my parents took me out. I was in Smike. There's Nicholas Nickleby in Smike. So it's like I was like one of the, this is the second one round. I was Drake the Butler in the first one in Annie, and I came on in the tuxedo and everything, and that was my first glimpse of it because my girlfriend was in the audience at the time, and walked out stage. All I heard were the wolf whistles, and it was just like, oh, this is good. So when I was Nicholas Nickleby, I didn't get to go on stage because my parents, it was when I was doing my A levels, and my parents decided that my studies were more important, which is fair enough. I'm not going to knock them for that. That was their decision, and what they wanted to steer me in. So they pulled me out of the musical, and I actually went to watch it with the guy who took over. And fair dues to him. I probably couldn't have done a really good job, but he wrecked it. It was in my it was in my eyes. I mean, it was my role. I was completely biased because no matter who it would have been.
That's it. You're always gonna look up at him and go, dick.
Yeah, it could have been Michael Ball, and I still would have thought complete dick. So yeah, I kind of bawled my eyes out in the thing, just watching it and thinking that could have been me, and it sort of moved it. I was even invited at one point. I had lessons by someone to try. She thought she was an examiner at Lambda, and she thought I could try for that, and I was like, I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure at the time whether it was something I could commit to. So yeah, and now 30 years later,
I mean, it's I think it's a difficult business, and I don't especially recommend anybody pursue it unless they absolutely have to, like, because they kind of go like, I don't know what else I do. I mean, even like when I've thought, when I thought back, like, what else did I like, and I didn't really like much else, kind of, doing kind of outdoorsy stuff, maybe like a tree surgeon or something, I don't know, or like lots of my friends growing up, work in agriculture. And I think maybe I would have done something like that, but I mean, and now, like, when I've not now, but like I've had times in the past where I thought, this isn't right. I'm not working enough. I'm not earning enough money. I need to do something else. What the hell can I do? And you sit there and you're like, I can't do anything else. This is what I do. I've got all this student debt for nothing, for God's sake.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's all right. My student debt is nothing compared to students who are coming out of universities and drama schools these days. So.
Oh, I know, it's shocking.
I should think myself lucky, really.
Yeah, I think my mortgage is less than the student debts at the moment than getting the people come out of uni with.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Must be cheap up in real.
Well, no, I'm probably thinking of a medical student. The mortgage is huge. Sadly, my mortgage is massive. But yeah, no, you're right. It's. I think there's with actors like yourself, and obviously, personalities like yourself, it's the passion that is what pushes you through, and it's that. And if you don't have that passion, I've talked about this with many other people. It is the passion, and you've got to have it, because if you don't have it, you would have fallen by the wayside. And like we talked about before, there are moments when like you just said there are moments when you're thinking, what am I doing? What have I done? But if you it's the passion inside you that pushes you further, and that's what brings success in the sort of acting area. It's that's what exudes across, and that's what drives people on, because it is a cutthroat business.
It is, and you have to make a lot of compromises as well, and you end up sometimes doing jobs that you're like, it's not the best job, but it pays okay, or it pays well. I mean, that's it. Some of the jobs, some of the most exciting jobs I've had have been absolutely appallingly paid. Some of them not even paid at all.
Yeah.
And then and then you get jobs that are kind of like, they're pretty boring and mundane, but they pay really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just the nature of the business, really.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I'm not gonna name jobs that I thought were shit, but paid well. I'm not gonna slag them off. But I mean, it's just part of it. Some of the jobs you do, when you might do a corporate film or an advert, and you just go, God, this is soul destroying. But like, hey, it might pay for your rent for 6 months.
Yeah.
What's going on? Has my face disappeared?
It has.
I don't know why. I'm back.
There you go.
Back in the box. Sorry, I'm on an iPad rather than a proper screen.
No, it's okay.
Hopefully you can edit that bit out.
yeah, it's fine. I'll just make a note of 10 minutes in. Like you say, it's where were we? I've completely lost where we were. I was talking
about how like some of the best jobs obviously sometimes don't pay particularly well, and vice versa, and that you can have like a job that you think is totally boring and mundane, or just really uninteresting and unartistic, and it can pay really, really well, and you can go, well, at least my rent's covered for months.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that on adverts, on this like casting call and stuff, because I started myself to get back into this, because since I've been talking to people on my show for 2 years, it's spurred me back on. It's listening to like I said, the passion and the enthusiasm, and it's just sat me thinking, I really wish I'd done this now 25 years ago instead. So I'm trying to start myself up, and it's looking on casting call, I can see how much some of these adverts do pay. You're right, and you're thinking it's on for what, 30-second advert, something like that, and it's a lot of money that they're paying out, some of these, but for, like say, artistically for you as an actor, it's just, I mean, I'm not going to say all of them, because I'm not going to slag them all off, but they are, I guess in some ways it's good, and it is like that.
Well, some people do. I mean, adverts actually can be, I think, for some people can be a real blessing. They can really make a kind of a career for themselves out of it, and they're sort of like there's a guy on, I see him on loads of adverts. He's got a moustache. He's got this really thick, dark moustache, and he sort of dresses very 1970s. And there's one where he's doing, I think it's like a milk advert or something, like Cravendale or something, and he's like everywhere he's going, he's holding this sort of glass of milk and trying not to spill a drop of it. But that guy, I mean, I can't even remember his name, but he does lots of kind of comedy stuff as well. I've seen him do some kind of comedy sketches live, and he's just got, he's obviously gone, this is my thing, I have my moustache, and there's no way I'm ever going to shave off my moustache. And you see him on so many adverts and posters around London as well. You go, this guy must be making an absolute killing.
Yeah.
You better not ever shave off that moustache; it'll just not work.
No, exactly. It's like the Go Compare guy, isn't it? Really, not that one.
Yeah. I've got a mate who's in one of the Go Compare adverts.
All right.
Yeah, he plays the pilot in the. There was one more recently with they're up in a plane, and suddenly the opera guy ends up on the top of the plane. My mate plays the pilot, and again, it's the moustache. He's got a frigging moustache, and he's got this sort of little pencil moustache, and it gets him loads of work.
That's the key. There you go.
I've got to do that. I need to grow a frigging moustache. Don't I?
Get yourself a Poirot moustache, and you'll be laughing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth thinking about.
But yeah, you're right. It's you can. I mean, you can. Yeah. I've been one of the things I'm trying to think of my train of thought. One of the things I've been told when I was trying to get back in as well, like you say, where you can have things which aren't paid well, is a lot of like student films and things like that, which are a great way to sort of build up your more experience and different. It might not pay or it might not pay much, but again, it gives another opportunity to play a different character and sort of build your own skill sets up as well.
I used to do a fair few of those. I probably still should, really. I think if you should say, yes to things if you can, if you're available, and if, well, I guess also if the script's good, and obviously don't just say yes to everything. But I mean, if there's something in it for you, like if you're reading the script and going, okay, this is shit, and there's no money, and I've got to pay my own train fare to, I don't know, Bournemouth, then no, then fine, don't do it. But like if they go, right, well, we're going to pay all your expenses, we'll house you overnight, we'll feed you and all the rest of it, and you're reading the script and going, do you know, this is actually quite good, I actually sort of believe in this as a project, then fine, go and do it. If it takes a day or 2 days out of your your weekend, you're like, well, you're not really losing anything by doing it. I mean, there is a huge ongoing debate with the whole kind of actors and being paid, and the Equity have a kind of a slogan, professionally made, professionally paid. And I do agree with that we should, of course, we're professionals, we should be paid. But I think I guess sometimes there are projects that are good, they just don't have the bloody money. But that's up to the individual to decide on that, I guess. Yeah,
definitely. It's a lot of independent stuff. But there's a lot of really good independent stuff out there as well, which is made by first time filmmakers, and it's get that chance, and you can be the next Tarantino. You never know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've had a couple of opportunities. Like one in particular, I remember a mate of mine was trying to convince me to do to do a film with this director that he sort of knows through a friend, and it was like the bugger all money little horror film, and I just read the script and I just went no. And in hindsight, I kind of wish that it's not like he's not quite at the Peter Jackson level, I don't think. But like you kind of go, do you know what, he is going to get better as a filmmaker. Like there is going to be more money eventually for the films. There'll be better standard. The script quality will be better, and I don't want to go as far as say I was being a snob, but maybe I was a bit hasty to just go like, nah, not interested. But then again, if I stick to my rule that you should be able to read a project and go see something in it for you, and I guess I just in that didn't see something for me. So.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You've got to see something that's going to be sort of jumps out to you as well. It's just like me looking. I mean, I'm in IT. That's my day job, and it has been for 20 odd years. Which is so I'm not going to knock that. But when I look at something new to go to, something's got to jump out at me to say, this is what you want to do. So I can see
exactly.
And especially with a film, that's you're expressing your art. People are going to see that as well. And if it's not something you've got 100% in. You probably wouldn't give your 100% to the role anyway, because you might not be feeling it.
Even if you know that the film is not top quality, but you think it's a really good laugh. Yeah. And you're like, I really want. It's just going to be a real then that's fine. I mean, but yes, every actor under the sun has done projects where they're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what the hell is this crap? But it's just all learning, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, look at Nicolas Cage. The guy's got an Oscar, for God's sake. Look at the crap he does. Like, I kind of love him though. Like, I love watching those these YouTube compilations of like Nick Cage being absolutely mental.
Oh God, yeah, like face stuff with his like.
And The Wicker Man and. Ah, the bees, not the bees! see, even my impression there is too good. It's better than what he's doing in the film. It's just so over the top. It's brilliant. And there were some brilliant films. There's one film. What's it called? It's called like Deadfall or something. And he gets his face melted in like hot oil or something, and he's absolutely hysterical in it. Right. Is it Deadfall? Anyway, but I'm a fan of trashy Nick Cage films.
Yeah, you're right. He's, people do rip him apart, but some of them they're pretty good to watch. I love Con Air is one of my best films. I actually really love that film.
I do too. I guess, but then it's quite high production value, isn't it? And
it's compared to some of the others he's done, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got John Malkovich in there as well, and he's always.
Oh, it's got loads of people in, isn't it? Steve Buscemi and
Michael T. Williamson, isn't it?
Yeah, is Ving Rhames in it as well?
Yeah, Ving Rhames is in it.
Yeah, it's a
stellar cast.
Yeah, it's a great film. I mean, trashy, but it's great.
Yeah, it's not. It's a trashy film, but it's a high budget trashy film.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to say as well, I'm not going to knock. There was a certain actor in a certain film where they're wrapped in bandages quite recently. I watched that the last weekend, and I wonder to myself how that person can earn so much money when there are other people out there as well. But that's my personal opinion. If he wasn't in it, the film would have been quite good, I think.
Yeah.
It's called ham acting.
Well, we've all done our fair share of ham acting.
Yeah. Sometimes.
I'm sure I've got plenty of years ahead of me to do many more hammy performances.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm probably going to do it up and down the UK very soon.
And here's me sat in my dining room saying the same thing about him when he's a multi-millionaire living in the luxury that he wants to live in, and I'm living at home in my semi on Prestatyn Beach, or near Prestatyn Beach. So yeah, I can see.
Hey, well, at least you own your house, right?
No, the bank does at the moment.
Well, you've got a mortgage.
Yeah.
I'm still generation rent, so I mean, I am hoping that that's not going to be the case forever. But I mean, it's London.
Yeah, London's
a nightmare. I mean, I've got actor friends who earn much more than me, and they're still like, I don't know how I'm ever going to be on the housing market. But I mean,
it's London's shocking now. I was looking at prices down there, and even in the aftermath of the horrendous Grenfell tragedy which happened recently, they were looking at the prices of flats or apartments for the people in America who are listening, which are right next to there, and they're selling for 13 million, or is it 8 million? Sorry, and it's like.
Well, some will be 13 million. That in Kensington and Chelsea. Some of them will be more than that. They're really expensive.
And that was like for 2 or 3 bedroomed apartments, So that's just how anyone can expect.
It's absolutely disgusting. I mean,
it is.
But that's. I mean, I guess that's up and down the country, though, isn't it? You've got really poor areas right next to really rich areas. It's. But I guess you notice it more in London, maybe, when you've got. Yeah, like Chelsea, which is one of the most expensive places to live in the world, and then you've got these tower blocks that sort of loom over them, but sort of remind us that yes, poor people do exist still.
Oh yeah, I think we went to London last summer, and we had to walk from Euston to Harley Street because we had to pay an extortionate amount of money for my son. It's just something going on, but we had to get it sorted. That's the only way we could sort it. And we walked through Marylebone, and it was exactly the same. So we walked through an area where it looked quite, obviously where it was fine. It was normal. It was basically what I class as normal. But it's obviously it looked like a normal region. But it's obviously where the poor, and compared to the big marble and white stone houses, which were literally 100 yards away on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
And it was just shocking. It was unbelievable. We were just looking like left to right and saying. One side of the road it's really rich, that side of the road it's not. it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a whole evening's topic of conversation on its own, I think. Moving back.
Is your son alright?
Oh, he's fine, yeah. He's got something called EDS, which is a hypermobility and bruises easily and things like that.
Right, okay.
But they wouldn't look at him up here, so we had to go to London to a specialist to sort of get it looked at.
Sure.
It's nothing, it's something to... Oh, excuse me. I was supposed to mute that. So yeah, it's one of those things. Moving back to your acting then, which away from the differences between rich and poor of London, is you've done a lot of voiceover roles as well. There's you're fair dudes. You've got a lot of them on there. Did you make that as a conscious effort to be a voice actor, or is it just something that fate brought you and the world together?
I remember being at drama school and it sort of being talked about that I should look at doing voiceovers, and I certainly, like, in the third year of drama school, I represented my school for what's called the Carlton Hobbs, the BBC Carlton Hobbs Award, and if you win it, you got like a 6-month contract with BBC Radio as part of their drama department. Right. I didn't win that, and neither did anyone else from my. Like, there were 4 of us, 2 boys, 2 girls. Mm-hmm. Me and my mate Will, and then girl Lola, and then Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, and none of us got it. We're all like, oh bloody hell, we put loads of effort into that. Load of shit. But about a year after drama school, I was working on. No, what am I talking about? Less than a year. Like about 6 months out of drama school, I got my first TV job. It was this Ross Kemp SAS thing called Ultimate Force.
Oh yeah, I love that. Again, that was a bit cheesy, but it was great.
Ultimate Farce.
Yeah.
It was a good laugh, actually. It was a good job to have as a first job as well. So I was filming that, and I got put in like a trailer with this actor called Simon Lenigan, and he was in the episode as well. And I was just sort of, like, I don't know, what was I at the time, 22, just like jabbering away and saying, oh yeah, I quite fancy getting into voiceovers, and I don't know really how I'm going to go about that. And I obviously was just in the right place at the right time, because he just went, oh, I've just started a voice agency with a friend of mine. Oh, really? It's like I knew. And I really didn't. And then and he was probably just trying to get me to shut up, because I was probably like talking too much. But he said, yeah, send your demo to Lee, who's now my agent, my voice agent, and see what she says. And I did. She got back to me and said, like, yeah, I like your voice, but your voice reel shit, so you'll need to record a new one.
Right.
And she's like, so I'm making no promises, but record a new voice reel, and then we'll see.
Okay.
And then so I did, and she liked it. And so the agency was quite new when I joined it. She had just broken away from another agency and started out on her own.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it wasn't kind of like it wasn't kind of hit the ground running. There was big gaps of just nothing, no kind of castings and no jobs, and then just occasionally get this call to do like some kind of corporate voiceover for like some kind of explainer video for like a camcorder or something, or really quite kind of like quite uninspiring voiceovers to start with, but but you just kind of go, okay, but you get paid a decent amount for the hour, and there'd be like a little tiny buyout on top of it, and you'd be like, well, that's great, really, like, I can't complain. It's artistically not particularly fulfilling, but fine, that was okay. And then I'd say about a year and a half after I'd been with them, I started getting these auditions for video games.
Right.
So I got sent to this company called Side UK, who are based down in central London, and I just started auditioning for stuff, and just started getting them, like Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah. You've had Xenoblade, Dragon Age. Yeah, it's really
probably the first 2 games, two big ones, like right from the start, were Dragon Age Origins and Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah. And
then Xenoblade Chronicles came in. Like, I've been doing it for a few years by then, so I was like, that was 2011.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, now I'm ready for my lead role. I was very pleased with that. I was like, wow, I'm doing a Nintendo game. This is ace.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I've been very fortunate, really, that there's this that Side UK. They've just kind of kept on asking me to come back in and audition for stuff, and luckily the clients who are listening to the tapes are going, yeah, him.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I'd say voiceovers, in terms of, so back to your question again, I do waffle.
That's all right. This show used to be called Ramblings of a Hellblazer because of that reason.
I mean, I can't say I set out like with this kind of like, right, I'm going to be a video game voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
I to be honest, I didn't really know it existed until I went and auditioned for the games.
Yeah.
I guess I did know it existed. I mean, like, I played plenty of games where there is voice acting in it, but it just never clicked with me. I never really thought. I've always, because especially as it was nothing. It wasn't something that was talked to us about at drama school. It was, we trained for theatre, television, film, a bit of radio, and we had radio classes, but in terms of preparing for doing voiceover character work for whether it be cartoons or video games, we just didn't get that training. So it's something that I've had to kind of discover just through being sent to auditions and trying it. Yeah.
Okay, and I mean with that as well, because with voiceover and the games that they are now, there's a lot of it's motion capture technology involved in there as well. Have you had much experience with that, and how does that differ in your eyes to?
Do you know what? I still I don't know why, but I still haven't done motion capture on a game.
Cool.
All my work has been. I've done face capture. That was for Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah.
And I mean, the character doesn't look like me, but they wanted to get the
expression.
They put all the dots and the camera on my face just so that they could get all the face movements. I really do want to do the whole performance. Put on the little suit with the dots on and all the rest of it. But those projects just haven't come my way.
Fair enough.
What I mean, it's an interesting one because I have now on quite a few occasions been on the other side of it, where I've helped out to audition actors for projects.
Right.
And so, and obviously you treat those auditions like you would treat a theatre audition or a television audition in a way, because luckily when you're doing a voiceover audition, you just go in, you can have the script in front of you and it's fine. But when you're auditioning for mocap, you really need to have got off book, learnt your lines, and be doing the full performance, and so that you've got to look physically right. Obviously, I can turn up for a voiceover looking like crap, and I could have a full-on beard and like hair all over the place, but be going in and doing the voice of a sort of 19-year-old. Because vocally I can do that, but obviously physically I can't look like a 19-year-old anymore, sadly. But yeah, the with the mocap stuff, it's you've really got to be the part, and I guess just not enough parts that are suitable for me have come up, or maybe, as I know can be the case, the budgets on video games are big, and it's not to sort of do myself down, but they can afford to get quite big names in these games. If you can get Gary Oldman in your game, or Kevin Spacey, because you've got a budget of 100 million quid, then you'll get those stars. So I'd be lucky to just play a foot soldier who just gets to do death noises in a project like that. So I mean, I don't think that so I was in Battlefield 1, and I didn't do the sort of any of the kind of the play a character stuff. And so you won't sort of see me, because I think the characters all look like the actors. Yeah, I mean, they've got such big budgets for these things. They can just basically pick who they want these days. And sadly, I'm just not enough of a star. But you know, we live in hope.
Yeah.
There'll come a day where I'm going, I'm not doing. That's not, you know, unless you pay me a lot more. I'm not that fussy. I'll do it if it's, you know. I like doing the video game work. So I've there's been a couple of times where I've had to kind of go, oh shit, I can't do that one and that one, they clash.
Yeah.
Awful having to turn down work, because like, especially when you can sometimes go weeks or months on end without anything, and then suddenly like a couple of jobs come along at once and they clash. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, why can't you just delay it for a little bit?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you never know as well. I mean, you know, if this SAG-AFTRA thing goes on for a long time, a lot longer, there's with the voiceover actors in the States, they'll be looking for.
Well, yeah, it's a weird one, that. Because, yeah, obviously, so my union is Equity, and they haven't really talked to us about this.
Yeah.
Because I know that those companies that are being boycotted are coming over here and are asking actors over here to do those jobs. So I don't know. It's a real tricky one. I think the thing that gets me the most about that stuff is because I think the pay in some ways is beside the point. I'm not sure where I am with the. I've gone again. And I'm back again.
With the royalty side of things.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I mean, I've never got royalties for video games. I get paid like an hourly rate, and then you get like a buyout for the game. Yeah. And I think the Americans probably get paid slightly better than us. Which is not me saying they need to stop whinging, because I don't feel that at all. I know the pressures that are put on us vocally. Some of, like, you know, there are times where I've been asked to scream, like not just shout, and because you can train your voice, and you can support your voice so that you can shout. But there seems to be a trend now in some video games for this kind of ultra realism, which I understand, but obviously if you were an actual soldier on a battlefield, you would only die once.
Yeah.
So you'd only be screaming like bloody murder like once. True. And you know, that would be it. But so when you're asked to do it for maybe a couple of hours straight, it's taxing.
And it does damage your vocal cords as well, and you know, when that's your profession.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know about what the long-term effects of it are, but certainly in the short term, if I do a very, very shouty voiceover session, I can't do another one that day.
Yeah.
And it might be touch and go as to whether or not I can do one the next day. So I've been slightly busier with voiceovers recently. I have had to say to my agent, can you check with them how shouty it's going to be? Because if you want me to do this one at this time and this one at this time, you might need to swap them round. Yeah. So I do the less shouty one in the morning and then do the shouty one in the afternoon, because otherwise I'm going to afternoon. Exactly. So and you know, and I'm sure there are plenty of actors as well who just turn down that work, who probably just go, do you know what, I'm not doing it, I'm not shouting, and good for them if they can afford to turn it down, but sadly needs must, and so yeah, sometimes I've just got to, you know, sort of suck it up and go, right, okay, this is going to be a bit of a shouty session. And then you just ask them to be understanding when you go, do you know what, I need a break for 5 minutes, or you know, I need to get some honey and lemon or whatever, and and I think they are starting to understand the needs of the actors and the strain that it is that's put on us by shouting for prolonged periods of time.
I think the royalties thing as well. It's coming. I can't say how I know. I'll tell you after on that part. But with a game, especially, I think a lot of it is the fact that in a game there's a lot of people involved in making it for years. It can take 2 or 3 years in creating the artistic. And I think that's not that I know anything about this whole thing, but I think that's probably the royalty side of things. I think that's probably where it's backing and forth, because people actually work 12-hour days, for 6 weeks at a time, doing all those kind of graphics and testing and stuff.
Absolutely. There are people who they devoted their life for maybe up to 5 years on one game.
Yeah.
And they're on a salary. They're like, I'm not getting bloody royalties, so why should this actor get it when he's only been on it for like a couple of weeks at the end? I understand that, but at the same time,
you don't care.
It's not that I don't care.
No.
It's just that there is.
It's a different type of. It's a different type
of performance, and it's and obviously our. I mean, their work is still there. I don't. It is a difficult argument. But also, we have unions to look after us. That's the point. So if they're not happy and they think that they should be better looked after, maybe they should get in a bloody union.
Yeah, which we can't do now, thanks to the good old people in power.
Well, I mean that's it. I'm part of a union, and I know they get a lot of flack. A lot of people say, like, oh, they're not as good as they used to be, or it's not worth being a member anymore. But well, if everyone has that attitude, then they won't. Then eventually they will just go. I mean, but no, I think it's something we should hold on to, and I think a lot of people don't realise how much good unions do.
Yeah.
So
they've helped me out big style in the past in one of my career roles as well. So I fully support them. I think they're very valid, and because they provide legal help and stuff for people. And they'll stick up for you in a world when no one else will. So yeah, totally agree. Cool. And you moving on to theatre as well. I mean, that's kind of sort of bringing to the end of our chat. I'll talk about your new theatre, because this is kind of what you're doing now, isn't it? You're going around the country. You said, is it in theatre? What's the production?
Yeah. Well,
are you allowed to talk about it or not?
Today I'm not. But you put this out in like 3 weeks, right? Yeah,
this will go out in about 3 weeks' time.
I think it'll be fine by then.
Cool.
I don't think they're going to sack me in 3 weeks' time. I'm in August going to start rehearsals for the UK tour of Beautiful, the Carole King musical.
Okay.
I'm not singing in it. I probably will be singing a few lines here and there. I'm playing the role of Donnie, who is he's the guy who I guess kind of discovered Carole and employed her to write songs and gave her kind of songwriting kind of start. And so I'm going to be up and down the UK and Ireland for probably the best part of a year.
Wow.
I've never toured before, so this is like this is it. Like lots of my mates had sort of did this sort of straight out of drama school. They went off on tour, and I'm like, this theatre just kind of escaped me. I just didn't seem to get it.
Yeah.
And here we are, like 12 years out of drama school, and I'm like, well, friggin' hell, I'm going on tour. Like, and asking people, how does it all work? Like, in terms of, booking your own theatre accommodation and finding out like just little mundane things like what perks do you get at individual theatre? Like, do they give you like gym membership and stuff like this at local theatres? So I'm suddenly like, oh my god, I've got to uproot my life, and I mean, there are going to be times where I can commute from London to certain venues.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I'm going to be living out of a suitcase for months on end. It's sort of both really exciting and terrifying.
I can imagine.
But like this is it. This is the life of the actor. This is what it should be.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad that I'm not so kind of old and set in my ways that that I would have gone, because some people go, oh, I'm not doing jobs like that, and I'm like, no, this is so cool. I actually get to, and also I mean, I don't know how my girlfriend's gonna be with it. She's really excited for me, but but we don't have children, so that there isn't that kind of. I think if I was a parent, I would probably really have to think very carefully about this. Mm-hmm. Unless they were older and stuff. But for like young kids, I've got mates of mine who've got babies. They're like, they couldn't do this.
Yeah.
So
it is hard. I've got a 10-year-old son, and I've got to move to London for 6 months, Monday to Friday. For work as well. And there is, you're right. If there's a difficult Skype and stuff's great for now, but there's that extra.
But I guess it's the routine, isn't it? So I mean, if you're doing it Monday to Friday and you know that you're going to see them the weekend.
Yeah, that's true. It's a routine. Whereas you'll be all around the country and you've got no idea when you'd get to next season.
Well, I sort of trying to work things out. Like, when am I going to be back in London, or because sometimes I'm going to be in Scotland.
Yeah.
And you're like going from Scotland down to, like, I don't know, Sheffield, and you go, well, I'm not going to go Scotland back all the way down to London and then for the next week be in Sheffield. It is going to be tricky, but it's just going to be a lot of getting diaries out and working out when I can sort of schedule in my life around this new opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like a great opportunity. I mean, I've talked to a few people from theatre. Rory do you watch Mrs. Brown's Boys?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I think Rory, the camp boy, he's been on.
Right.
So you should be thinking yourself lucky, because apparently every night Brendan and Carole changes certain things. They know what's going to happen, but they just don't know when. And he changes the timing every time throughout the night, because his attitude is, you might have done this 5 days or 5 weeks in a row, but it's the first time that audience has seen it. So he changes it up each night, so just to make it a bit more spontaneous for them.
See, I mean, I'll see what I can get away with on tour, because I do hope that because I don't know who the rest of the cast are yet, but right. I'm sure within such a huge bunch of people, there'll be some people that I really get on with, so hopefully we can have a bit of banter and kind of try and trip each other up a little bit every now and again. Not at the expense of the show, of course, but sort of a friend of mine was doing a play in the West End recently, and he sort of walked off stage at there's a part of his scene where he walks off and then comes back on again, and as he sort of went to walk off, one of his castmates was in the wings, wearing ridiculous underpants, just standing there in his underpants, and so he sort of burst into laughter off stage, and then had to go back onto stage and try not to wet himself whilst walking. But luckily it was a comedy, and there was lots of corpsing, lots of slip ups from the cast. But I don't think the Carole King musical is. It's not the quite same style, but within that, I'm sure there's lots of fun and hijinks to be had.
Excellent. Is there anything last thing that you'd like to say? I've got one more question, which will be a fun one for you. Actually, no, I'll ask that now before you say the last one, because then it'll finish it off nicely. This is one I had a Muppet on last year. I can call him a Muppet because he's worked for Jim Henson on the Muppet Show for 25 years, so he is a bona fide Muppet. And a question got this lovely guy as well, Mike Quinn. He got sent in this question, and I've asked it to virtually everyone afterwards. If you could be a Muppet, any type of Muppet, what character would you choose for yourself and why? And it could be a mix of several. It doesn't have to be one of the main ones.
Well, my two favourite were always Gonzo and Animal. Gonzo, just because I think I just like the colours that he was, really, and the shape of his nose.
Yeah.
I've got a bit. I've got a bit of a Roman nose. You can see it.
Yeah.
I've always not quite the same as Gonzo, but I because I've always been asked, if you change anything about your body, would you change anything? And I always always used to say my nose, but then people go, no, you should never change your nose, and it's but no, I always like Gonzo and his nose. and his colours. And Animal, just because I loved him on the drums, basically.
He was awesome.
Exactly, and I'm just like, I can't play any musical instruments actually, but if I did, I'd want to play the drums.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
My son's a drummer, and my dad was a semi-pro drummer. So, yeah, so animals pretty much the theme in this house for that kind of thing too.
Animal in the family.
Oh yeah. Excellent. So yeah, in parting then, is there anything before I stop the recording? Anything you'd like to say to people who are watching and listening?
I'm really sorry when you tweet at me and you say, "Are you going to be in this? Are you going to be in this game or this game?" And I don't reply. It can often be because I just literally haven't been asked yet, and I'm hoping I'm going to be asked to be in that game, or it is because I've signed a non-disclosure agreement and I literally just can't talk about it, because I get asked a lot of the time about sequels to video games and whether or not I'm going to be in them, and of course I want to go, yeah, I got this freaking job, it's amazing, haha.
Yeah, but there's a little legal agreement that tells you can't. I
just have to sort of ignore people's tweets, and stuff. And I feel a bit rude in that respect, but there's nothing I can do. So I apologise basically for ignoring people's tweets when they ask me questions, but I hope they understand that I just don't want to get sued by games companies who've got shed loads of money, and I haven't.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for that, Adam. Once again, I thank Adam for his time. It was a great chat, great interview. Thanks to all those who sent questions as well. Hope you all got the answers you were looking for. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. As always, this has been Chris Gordon with Adam Howden on Hellblazer Biz.